Hello, everybody. Can you all hear me back there and everywhere? Excellent. Welcome to Selby Gardens at Spanish Point. This is the last of this season, the 22-23 season of the Hermitage Sunsets at Selby series. For those I don't know, my name's Andy Sandberg. I'm Artistic Director and CEO at the Hermitage, and we're thrilled you are all here with us tonight to hear from the amazing Hermitage artist and alumna, Karen Patterson. More on this wonderful talent very shortly. A few quick announcements. If you could silence your cell phones. We're going to be here with the cello and the water and the birds, but no cell phones. We're here in the sunken gardens from another era. I want to thank all of our friends at Selby Gardens for partnering with us on this series. We are year-round in our programming. We have events all throughout Sarasota County. How many people are first-timers to a Hermitage program? Raise your hand. Excellent. Well, we're happy you're here. We hope you will join us for many future programs. You can learn about more on our website, and there's a few listed at the bottom of your program I want to call your attention to. As you did today, just go on to hermitageartistretreat.org, sign up, bring friends, spread the word. The next one is going to be outdoors at the Van Wezel Performing Arts Hall's terrace, also by the water. This is a common theme. That's next week with two wonderful violinists next Friday, Maz Swift and Rebecca Crenshaw, so you're going to want to check that out. We have a virtual program, so if any snowbirds are sneaking away the following week on the 31st with Zora Howard, a Pulitzer Prize finalist in theater who is amazing, and so many other wonderful events coming up. So please check them out, and we hope to see more of you. Every week is different. We host artists from all over the world in music, theater, visual art, literature, dance, film, all different genres. So we know you're all going to be cello fans tonight, but next week will be a whole different experience. Can I ask all of our regular supporters and friends who come, raise your hands proudly? Awesome. So thank you for all of your support in making these programs possible. They're all free to the community. So those newcomers who are here for this first program, after the event, in addition to taking a moment to fill out that survey, which is enormously helpful for us, talk to your neighbor, learn more about why they keep coming to our Hermitage programs. We're thrilled you're joining us now. I also want to thank our friends at Scene Magazine who have been a sponsor this season for the Hermitage Sunsets at Selby series. So thank you to everyone at Scene for their partnership. And I just want to ask, I know we have a few trustees here, if you could raise your hands, current or past, and thank you for your leadership. Thank you for everything you do for us. So, without further ado, we are going to come back and have a chance to have a few questions with Karen at the end, but I'm thrilled to introduce you to an extraordinary artist who is an alum from one of the earliest days of the Hermitage. She doesn't quite go back to the Hermitage 2 decades. This is our 20th anniversary season, but was it 2005? 2005 we had Karen here, and we are so thrilled that you're here back with us today. Karen has been spending a little time on the beach. I'm not going to tell you too much about her because you'll get to hear her work and you can obviously read more about her. I will simply share that she comes to us here in Sarasota by way of such exotic places as Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and Lagos, Nigeria, and Dayton, Ohio. So we are thrilled that you could add Manasota Key and Sarasota to your list. So please join me in welcoming the amazing Karen Patterson.
Thank you. And let's not forget Yellow Springs, Ohio. All right? Yellow Springs, Ohio's in the house. Okay. So, I decided to open with the Bach. Because you think of Bach, you think of cello. So how do you perform Bach? Every cellist, I can guarantee, will do it in a very different way. That's their signature, but this is now, I'll tell you mine. When I think of a progression of one's life, the first one, which is the G, in G, it's the children laughing, they're talking. That's a very, very different time in life. Can you all hear me? A little bit? Okay, you guys gonna help me out? Okay. So the first one, as I was saying, in G, and how I was able to understand it as I said, kids, you do a lot of learning about life where you're in the playground, in the play box, out there in the sand. That's where you really learn about how things work and why. And so you think about putting them together, and then that gives me a way of listening to the Bach. First one. If you heard it, those are children. Did you hear them? One. So what's happening is one is making a statement, the other one is answering. Then they're going to laugh a little bit, they're going to talk some more. So just a little bit further. See the second one? So, you go on a little bit further with the second suite. And the second suite is a little bit, can you all hear me now? Okay, all right. The second one, which is the D minor, the D dur. And this one is one of going through transition in life. And I used to think about, is that the turbulent 20s or is it the 30s? No, it goes all the way through life. I have found that one out. And that's a good thing about transition because it takes you to another level that you weren't there way back when things are in another way. Now, how was I able to understand this one, the D mode? I thought, okay, how am I going to understand this piece as opposed to the first one? The first one is, but this one, all right, it's asking questions, how, why, when, all of those things. So I remember a piece that my mom used to sing on and on and on, especially on Saturday mornings. And that's when you do all of your chores. And that piece was sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Now take a listen. This is how I was able to reach the D minor. All right, so the D minor. Motherless child, listen. Did you hear it? Motherless. All right. Motherless child. Third one. It's a C major. It's a time I call freedom when you have gone through a transition. And then you have learned a point of what? Go. Can you hear me now?
No,
No.
there's no amp.
There's no amp.
No
All
amp.
right. All right, that's okay. Do I sound a little louder? No? Okay. Uh-oh, did you hear it? Wait. Okay. All right. You can hear me now. C major, as I was saying, let it go. This is something I've been kind of going through, learning to do that. Just like right now. You see that, what just happened? I let it go. Eventually, it's going to come back around, and guess what? Here we are. So the C major, when I had to learn that one, the whole thing goes like that, really. But that's how I was able to approach playing that piece, because let it go. Yes, you're going to have bumps and grinds along the way. So what? Ultimately, it's going to work out. Good, bad, or not, but it's going to work out. So now this time, we'll play a full Bach. Okay. I stop now because it feels like I'm playing a spiritual for you. But see, that's not the true nature of a spiritual. We do this together. You can shout with your feet. You shout with your hands, you internalize it, you send it back out, but that is what happens with a spiritual. I'm not going to sit here and play it for you. Now, I did that with Motherless Child. I said, well, they're going to get it eventually. Let me play a little Bach. Maybe that might help it out. No. Bach was telling you more of please sit and listen. That's why I went right into excuse me, soon it will be done with the troubles of this world, going home to be with God. I love this piece. This is the kind of a piece that when you're going through whatever, you close the door. It's just you and that thing, whatever it is. Mine usually is going to be this cello. Work it out, and you will come on out of that room a very different person than when you went in. So hopefully that will happen with this piece. So what I would like for you all to do is join me, all right? With your feet, keep time. Because when we're keeping time, it's not keeping time. We are now working together as a unit. There is strength in numbers. See, it comes to you on all kinds of levels. If you're going to clap, don't speed me up. Sometimes that happens. Don't speed me up, all right? Because that's another thing. I've got to walk some lines. All right? Walking lines, bass lines at that, I learned from a gentleman by the name of Keita Betts. Keita Betts was my friend, he was my teacher, he was my mentor, and he is also no longer with us. He was the bass player with Ella Fitzgerald for the last 40 years till both of their deaths. So that's why I can do this. But when I first came back from Germany, working on my master's and all that stuff, I didn't know how to do all that. But I remember having a gig in Falls Church, Virginia, and I tell you, it's Wolf Trap. We were, the pickup orchestra in the pit. They were on stage, Ella and all that whole entourage. And during the break, they are all kind of sitting around and whatever. Here I go walking up there. Hi, my name is Karen Patterson. I'm from Yellow Springs, Ohio, and I'd like to blah, blah, whatever I had to talk about. Just to get up there to say hello to them. That's what it was all about. It was a break. Come on. I was a little boo-boo at that time, but they were very lovely to me. And I remember they asked me the first question, which I knew I was being set up, but I didn't know at the time. Well, what do you know how to do? Jazz-wise, that is. And I had to think about, repertoire, is that what he said? See, didn't I sound like I was aus Deutschland? I sounded like I just came back from Germany. Let me think about my repertoire. What can I, shut up. That's what had to happen. And they just started playing, right? They just started playing. I said, I know this tune. Okay, I was able to join in. My Satin Doll. I knew that one. I knew the melody is what I knew. I didn't know how to improvise or any of that. And it was so funny because it's like driving on the Autobahn. If you don't keep up, these folks have a way of moving you to the side till you have stopped on the side of the road. Well, that's what happened to me. We were playing, and okay, now comes my turn to, you got a solo, sweetheart. Well, sweetheart did not know how to do that. So I was just going to play around. At least I can do that. I mean, I do have my degree. I do know how to change, with the changes of shit. You don't know what you're doing. Okay, came down, everybody went around, it came down for me to do it again. Well, it was just about doing it again, making the same statement, and, well, they smiled. She's trying. Then they did it again. They started switching keys and this and that and faster, and all the time I just had to move over to the side, put the bow down, and listen. It was humbling, and I thanked them. All right, Ella, I saw her over there laughing. So anyway, I went over to the bassist, and I didn't know who Keita Betts was, and he was looking at me, shaking his head. I said, well, Keita, now I'm saying, Mr. Betts, is it possible that I can, whenever you come to town, study with you, right? I wasn't afraid to ask that. And he looked at me up and down. He said, Okay, I'm going to tell you first of all about improvisation. You've made a statement. You come back and make the same statement again, and forget about it being the third time, because let me tell you, what we call that is premeditated murder. All right, I learned from Q to Bet, so that's why when I walk these lines, you won't hear the same thing twice. All right? All right, now, soon it will. Soon we'll be done with the troubles of this world. I'm sure some of you do know who made that one very, very famous. I'm not going to tell you till the end, okay? But I'm going to play it again, and I want you to join in with me for this spiritual, okay? All right, I see the heads going, okay. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can see some of you, but I can't hear you. Let's try it again. Mother, I tell you, she used to sing that one too. Sooner we'll be done with the troubles of this world. Mahalia Jackson brought that one. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Okay. You okay? All right. But Going Home is a beautiful spiritual, and yes, it shows up on, what was that? Okay, sorry. It shows up, of course, New World Symphony by Dvorak, and that's what a lot of people will say, oh, you played the Dvorak. I said, oh, I played the spiritual. And where did he learn this spiritual? He learned it from Will Marion Cook. And Will Marion Cook was a student of Dvorak, and he was a trained classical concert violinist right here in Ohio. I'm lying, he's not from Ohio. But what was he going to do? You've heard the cakewalk? That's Will Cook. So these are the kinds of things he was able to do. Now, he brought Dvorak here to the States to teach at a school of music up north. And he decided one day that he wanted to take a walk about, if you will, but he wanted to go throughout the entire United States. Dvorak had a wonderful love affair with the United States. It's diversity. It's, he used other words at that time, but he went to all kinds of communities throughout and learned their pieces from their cultures and then put them together into the New World Symphony. So that's why that first one, that's why I wanted to play the Going Home, because you always hear it, but I want you to understand this truly is a spiritual, and Dvorak got it. That's what I want to say. He got it. The next thing I wanted to do is Wade in the Water and Elijah Rock. I listened to the two pieces, and then I put them together to make a prayer. Listen to how I put those together. You see, how do I approaching things? I'm trying to show you that I'm going to come from outside of certain areas, but it comes together to make some kind of sense. Excuse me, I'm having a hard time with this weather and this cello. I want you to know that this is not easy. You hear me missing a few of these, all right? But that's okay. You all have love in your hearts. I appreciate that. But these slipping and sliding a little bit, I mean, this is not easy. And I'm going to tell you something else. This is a beautiful Montagnana cello from 1734. I think this old guy right here is doing pretty good in this weather, huh? That makes a prayer. Now, I tell you, I wanted to do one more before we go into a little bit of jazz. All right. I haven't seen a friend of mine for 18 years. 18 years, Tom Carabasi. And I met Tom Carabasi through another very good friend, John Sims. who's recently passed. And he went to Antioch in Yellow Springs. Yeah, there's all these connections. And I remember coming to Ringling at that time, School of Art and Design, now it's College of Art and Design, where Tom actually is the chair of the photography department there. And he's also a fabulous percussionist. And I've taken Tom out on the road, in fact, a few times. That's right, he and Kenny Drew Jr., I don't know if any of you remember him. Wonderful pianist. I took him to Africa with me, I'm telling you. That's right, Kenny Drew. And, but he's also no longer with us. But anyway, what I'm going to do is to play the one piece, all right, Circle of Life. And then I'm going to ask you, Tom, to come in and join me on your instrument. And I did not call the name, all right, because I don't quite get it, okay? Of life. Now, before I ask Tom to come on up, I'm going to ask you all, does everybody know each other here? Most of you do, right? I'm feeling so at home. The reason why I'm asking this, you know, I go to church. I really do. And something we call, I'm sure a lot of you have it as well, and we call it the peace. And the piece does some wonderful things. I usually like to have it in the beginning of a performance, but since I was going to be talking, I said, nah, midway, almost at the end, that's when we're going to do it. And the piece, I would like for you to give me more of an environment to work in. Please introduce yourselves to each other. Please do that. I mean, right now. In front, behind you, on both sides, get up, go to the other side, greet each other. That's it. Say hello. Because you will see each other again, I guarantee you. You want to come on? Because you guys speak, yeah.
You want me to say anything?
Absolutely, in a few minutes, once they get the piece over with. I love the piece. I'm telling you, we're up and down the aisles. We're saying hello. I have no idea what time it is. Huh? Okay. Well, that's about right. I got it. I got it.
You know what? I think if you just play the two tunes how far.
I think so.
Yeah, right?
That's right, because I'm not going through the whole learning curve right now.
Absolutely. Doing great.
Okay. See, they're still enjoying. I'm telling you, that reminds me of church. They do that, go up and down. Got to say hello to everybody. Okay.
Boy, this is gorgeous.
Feels good. Okay.
The musicians.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. Thank you. This is Tom. Everybody.
And your name is?
And your name? Barbara.
Yes, I come to a lot of these, and you're wonderful. I'm enjoying it.
Well, gosh, thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like I'm at home, to tell you the truth. I need to move into Sarasota. Leave that cold weather alone. Okay. All right. So this is Tom Karabasi, as I was saying. It's 2005, 18 years, but hey, we're going to work it out right now. Now, Tom, when I called you, I said, you have an instrument. You told me about this instrument. So I want you to play that instrument with me on some pieces that we have done before out on the road. Now, you talk about a character on the road. Oh, my goodness. A lot of fun, a lot of learning. So, Tom Karabasi,
Well,
tell us about this instrument. What is it called?
this is called a cajon, and it's from Peru originally. And, for a long time, for probably as long as we can go back, people have communicated through the drum. And I believe that was part of how people were communicating in a lot of areas of South America. When they didn't have access to a drum, they would play a box. So that's how this got started. And right now, I think it's through the great Spanish guitar player Paco de Lucia, it found its way to Spain and is very prominent in flamenco music and folk music. And it's just a wonderful, simple accompaniment. And I think it was a good idea, Karen, to play this, because I usually play a full drum set. So
Yes, he does.
this is absolutely beautiful, looking out here at all of you. And what Karen was talking about earlier about participation, I did have the opportunity to perform in Brazil, and they always would say that the crowd assists at the performance instead of attending. So you all have assisted very nicely. So thank you.
It's spiritual. You want to demonstrate a little bit on this instrument so we can know what it sounds like?
I guess so,
Okay.
Little 6/8.
Oh. Okay. All right. Little Black Orpheus. Tom, they have to know how to do the samba beat if you're going to do that.
Oh, that's a tough one. How many people are ready to samba dance? Anybody? That takes a little practice.
A little practice?
Yeah.
Okay,
You go
okay.
ahead. You play
Okay.
whatever you want. I'll follow.
Solo. Changed it a little bit.
Yeah, that was great.
Now, Tom had another suggestion. I don't know if I can hang, but we're going to try. And that's to do, everybody knows, right? You know that tune? But, thank you. You hear his beat? That's 6/8. An African 6/8. really nice. Okay. Now comes the good stuff.
Longer walk. Oh,
your
stealing
mic's
your
over
mic.
here.
I just want to give it up one more time for these incredible, incredible musicians. And thank you for sharing your time and talent with us. Karen, thank you for being back here with us.
Yeah, Karen.
We have time for just a couple of questions. So, Karen, I'm going to hog my mic privilege here and ask you, what's it like being back here 17 years later?
Oh my
18
goodness.
years?
I'm telling you, it's like coming home. In some kind of a way, it's coming home. Now, I might make this my home.
I mean, it's not a bad place to live,
Not
right?
a bad place to live. I always have a great time when I come, and you know what? I always come among, I call it my people. People who are like-minded. I may start a conversation with whomever. The next thing I know, they're on my page. I'm on their page. This is, I love this. That's what I want to say. It's like coming home. I appreciate it.
So, Karen, what are you working on while you're here? What are you taking in as you're here playing today? But what's been your past week or so?
I'm telling you, this was a reset time. I call it reset. Because I kind of came back to Karen Patterson, as my mom would call me, Chani. Well, it feels like I've been away a little bit from myself, but yet I'm coming back to myself. I had to take care of my mom. I'm going to tell you all that. This is home. I had to take care of my mom. I was in Africa, living in Nigeria for 4 years. Beautiful place, like this, burning up. But it was where I was finally putting a school together, the backers, everything. We had the teachers in place, all of that, and Mom got sick. And I came home thinking a couple of months, and a couple of months turned into a few years. And that's okay, because it was my honor to do it. And I did it 24/7 all the way to the last breath. Yes, I did. So I've been away from me for a little bit. But coming back to the Hermitage, what this did was say, you know what? You have still some more to put out there in this world. I don't like using the term of, oh, are you the artist? This is what I am. I play the cello, I try to internalize pieces, and I put it back out to the air, to who's in front of me, and hopefully they will get something from it, right? And take it out there to their world. And then we have something going on. We've got a little bit of an energy going on that's only can come from the arts, as I put it. And that's actually anything in this world. What I've been working on is my book, My Life as a Cellist. I'm talking about the good, bad, and the ugly. So that it's inspirational. You learn something from it and say, oh, well, this is funny, this is not, I can learn from this, maybe I'm going through this too. That's what this book has been all about. And what's been wonderful at the Hermitage is that there's so many playwrights there. So many authors there. I can ask questions. They can talk to me. They can help me. So that was wonderful. I'm also working, and will continue when I leave here, working on my play. I'm doing a one-woman play, yes. And who talked to me about that way back when was Lena Horne. Remember she did that one-woman show? Oh, my goodness. I remember she had just finished, it was like her first run of it or something. It was in D.C. And I was coming through from a rehearsal or something. I had the cello with me, I remember that. And she saw me, and she kind of came over to me. And she said, baby, don't you ever allow anything or anyone to make you put that cello down, because you have a story. Just looking at you, I can tell. Now, you saw what I just did. And I kept on, I kept going and on, and you do the same. So at this point, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting it right there, and I'm going to do my one-woman show about my life as a cellist.
So it's not like you're multi-talented or anything. You'll have to let us know when we can share the news about the book with everyone. I think we have time for a couple of audience questions, so don't be shy and regret not asking later. So I'm going to ask you to raise your hand, and if I'll single you out here if we have any questions. Where did the cello come from?
Yeah,
Tell us the story.
Hook and crook is how I got the cello. Actually, this cello met me. I remember coming home for a visit. I was in Germany working on my degree. I was, wanted to get it from Germany and the teacher that I studied with, because for me it was a matter of getting it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And that's what I did. The cello, yes, 1734, Montagnana. It went to several people, several. And it's amazing how many different orchestras, the cello section especially, will always know the history of this instrument, more so than myself. And, well, I wanted the cello. I was at that time going back to Germany, and then what had to happen was then some other folks became very interested. So this cello went all over the United States, other folks trying it out. But somehow, when something is intended for you, it's amazing how it comes back to you. I'm telling you, I came home for Christmas. Now, this was summer, now Christmas, because I was getting ready to, graduate, and I wanted a real cello in my life. And so it came back to me in, believe it or not, Columbus, Ohio. Yes, they happened to get it from whichever way they got it, but there it was, and I was able to sell everything at that time that I owned. Car, the other cello, everything. And I had to get a real job. I had to teach at Central State University. And so I was like, well, Daddy, can't you help me just a little bit? He said, that's right. And there is the employment line. So therefore, but he did. He came in there because he understood this was a cello for life. And this cello has been with me all the way, and it probably when I'm gone too. Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
question
sorry.
over here.
I'm sorry to take
No,
your
you're
time.
good, you're good.
Did you see
How
it?
does the cello weather the weather?
Did you see me slipping and sliding a little bit? Yes, and right now it's very, very sticky. It's getting ready to go back. I have it. Oh, my case. You guys need to see my case. You guys going to bring my case out. I had this
Where's
case
the mic? Oh, okay.
built quite a few years ago. And I had it built for taking it into Africa. Because, see, where I was living and working was right on the equator and the Atlantic Ocean. You got both of those going on at the same time. You've got some wahala, as they called it, to deal with. So I wanted to, can you open it up a little
Yeah.
bit so you can see what has to go on. So whatever, eventually I have to get ready to put it away, but everything.
Nope, James is more capable than I am. Apparently, this is why I was never a magician.
Thank you. All right, you see, if you can, this case is ironclad. Once it is closed up, whatever is going on outside will not hamper the cello inside, and that's why I got it. Is it 52 pounds? Yes, it's under 60 pounds when you go to the airport, and I will deal with that tomorrow morning. I have to go through my song and dance.
Custom built for Karen Patterson, it says
Yes.
inside here. So.
Yes, and I take this. I tell you, I don't take it to London, for example. It's too big. You have to go through. Not you. I need another cab. That's too much. Because everything's so kind of small. And then you go into Germany. A lot of times you have to get up and down those. If you're going on the Bahnhof, you have to get up and down that, and you try to do that with this instrument because you don't really want anybody to take it and put it in another car. Not really, because I did that once, and I didn't get right. I was getting that done, and then I was getting back on the train to make sure all was well. And that train, because it's zigzag, alles in Ordnung. They're on, and man muss pünktlich sein. I'm telling you, punctual might be. You know what? I found something to throw up against the train because they were riding away with my cello on it. Do you understand what I was going through? But that's okay.
So, Karen, you're even
here we
more
are.
meant to live in Florida, the land of big
See?
vehicles.
See?
Do we have time for one last question out here? I want to make sure I'm not turning my back on this side just because of the glare of the sun. Okay, over here. How is your school doing in Africa?
Well, I will be going back to do this school, but let me tell you, it was time for Mommy. It was Mommy's time. I thought going back in 2 months was going to happen. Everything was going to, bounce back like Mom always is, and that did not happen. So therefore, I could not do it. I could not do it. And I use the word yet. Okay, maybe not then, but that doesn't say that it's not going to happen. Maybe not at that time. And that is a reality I had to deal with too. Yes.
Karen, I'm going to steal the mic for one last question here to wrap up and just say, you've done so much. You've played everywhere. You've traveled everywhere. This has come with you. What is it? You're writing a book. You're doing a play.
Yeah.
Is there a piece that you're dying to tackle that you're not ready for yet? Or what is the yet ahead in terms
Probably
of music?
marriage. That's my answer.
All right. Well, I'd say a great answer. I want to ask you all to join me again in thanking Karen Patterson.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for braving the weather with the instrument today. And I want to thank our friends at Selby Gardens for having us here at Spanish Point. I want to thank our trustees, our supporters, newcomers. We hope to see you again. I want to also just give a huge, huge thanks to everyone on the Hermitage team. They are amazing. They make all of these events happen throughout the year. You can thank them yourself by taking a moment to fill out that survey and handing it to any of them. It's the folks with the gold name tags or our amazing volunteers with the blue name tags. So anyone with a name tag, thank them, fill out that survey, enjoy the last light here. Karen, thank you again.
Thank you.